Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Thursday afternoon, July 6th. Looking at window traders market profile of the ES and SPY. So it started the same way as yesterday with the gap, but definitely sellers had a better opportunity this morning with a larger gap. They had decent tempo early in volume, and then it all dried up. This is a very, very kind of bizarre type day with the MGI. We end up with a gap lower value all day, down 0.8%. Yet we raised after lowering TPO initially to D, we raise it 3 times throughout the day and raise volume POC. Very weird. There's a lot of absorbing going on at 36.50 and again at 25 or 25.50. For my money's worth, there was some long-term money buying at those levels. Now, did that stop the selling from pushing lower? Possibly, right? I mean, there's only so much short-term traders are going to keep pushing and stuff. Possibility, but regardless, they were weak. We had a chance, believe it or not, we went trend up also, which failed. Our trend down day failed. The gap held, so that's 25.9% of the downside gaps have held. We took out both sides of the IB, so 32.3% of the time we've done that. Volume isn't even going to be average. NQ, pretty much the same as us. They end, still holding the gap, and I is an afternoon pullback. Righty ends with 8 wide and a gap. Now, we end with the gap, and believe it or not, I'm using I as an afternoon pullback low. Think about that. We're down 0.8% with lower value and a gap, and we have an afternoon pullback low. So the MGI was totally mixed. And because of that, I did nothing after F. I had a very good day, though. I made 31.5 points. I'm up 49 for the week, not including my NQ trades. I was up 38.5 points. I gave back 7 on a short in F, took that off, and I'm like, something's changed here. Forget it. Let's watch. It's one thing to come back and take back the trend day, but I thought they would have an afternoon rally high. Obviously, that wasn't the case as we spent all afternoon up here. We didn't really get any great distance, and the gap is still decent, but we stayed up here, and we went back and forth through the opening. The only long I took today, I actually took a long right before the opening and made 3.5 points on it. I thought they would front run the overnight low, which they did briefly. I made a quick 3.5. Now, after that, I shorted B, C, D, E, and F. Yes, even when the market was going, and I did well on it except for that one trade in F. And that's where I made all my points. The market was telling me, and I missed a short at 40 in A too. But the market was telling us in B, C, D, shorts are the play. Now, once E took out D's high, something changed, but we still had 2 sets of single prints. Actually, only 1 at that point. I took a short against the single print fill, did well on that in E. F, I thought we'd have an afternoon rally high, so at the time it was half back. At the time it was value high. I was up a decent amount of points, but I gave back, like I said, a bunch of them, 7 or 8, but still made 31.5 on the day. And then when I'm not sure, I go neutral. Remember, folks, no trade is a trade also. Please keep that in mind. So, and it's the money you keep, not the money you make. I didn't want to give back any more out of my 31 points. It's bad enough I'd given back 7 when I was up 38. So we have today's high at 440.10, and then the gap fill is 441.90. That's 180 cents. It's still a decent gap. Then we have, on the downside, today we have the afternoon pullback low of 438.99, and today's low of 437.06. In ES, I have today's high at 451 and filling the gap at 71. But incredibly, we still have that 16 white overnight POC at 52.25 inside of that gap. I can't believe when we finally went up, we didn't get that today. I think it would be hysterical if we gap above it and it becomes a downside destination. And for our downside in ES, we have the afternoon pullback of 39.50 and today's low of 19.50. And then on the chart, just quickly, so again, the weekly is in balance. It's a 4-week balance. The way we gapped lower today and we had basically stretched the balance high, I thought buyers might have something to really worry about. Now they still might. We still have non-farm payroll tomorrow. So if that number comes out or whatever and we hold the gap from today, we could make inroads down to the lower end of this balance. But the way they closed today, if that number isn't that bad, I wouldn't be surprised if we try to take back that gap, as they were very weak. So the weekly's still in balance, outside week up, okay, which hasn't really paid a lot. We're only up $1 and change from that at this point right now. And the daily, actually, I take that back. Yeah, no, outside, right. That was last week. We really haven't taken advantage of it midweek. And the daily is down. Yes, it's a nice finish. We didn't touch the 20. We were getting close to it. It's a nice finish, but we're clearly down with the gap as my main focus. Hope you had a good day trading. Thanks for liking and subscribing to my channel. Enjoy your evening, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.